Good morning, everybody. It's hump day. And just like I said yesterday, I'm tired of talking about shutdown stuff. We'll probably touch on it a little bit this morning. But I've got a bit of a hodgepodge for you this morning. We're going to be talking about the general loss of faith in America. And I'm not just talking about people not going to church anymore. I mean people losing faith in everything. People have lost faith in institutions. People are losing faith in just what they read online, right?
People are losing faith.
We know that shit's fucked up and there's not much to do about it. Oh, and I managed to save that F-bomb until almost exactly 5 seconds after it really matters, because we got to keep them out of the first 30 seconds at the top.
Demonetized.
I've got Mario back this morning, Jiggly Plum. I hope you're ready to shake your ass for us. And good morning, Santa Steve. Once again, thank you so much for the propane heater.
Yeah, we're having a cold snap here in the South. Okay, 39 degrees last night in Florida, which is like February temperatures for us usually. Okay, and usually only a couple times a year, but I like it.
Yeah,
I find it invigorating. It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
we got down to 23. Not last night, but night before last. So it was like I was just telling Mario right before we started. It was 26 degrees here in the studio when I went live yesterday morning. That was tough. Not quite so bad this morning. I think we're sitting at about 38.
Mm-hmm. So a little bit of a housekeeping, I guess. So you guys know the reason I've been absent, okay, the last few days, or I've been kind of just wasn't here Saturday, right? My brother is currently in town. He's visiting. He's on leave from Italy. I usually only see him maybe once or twice a year, so I've been spending time with my brother. We play advanced tabletop wargaming. Okay, a lot of Axis and Allies has been going on.
Big old nerds.
The last few nights. That's right. Setting up the big table and playing Axis and Allies until 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's where I've been. Okay. So my apologies if any of you missed me. Okay. Now, Chris was talking about loss of faith, right? Well, yeah, to get right to the heart of it, people are losing faith in the very concept of democratic government, in democracy itself. All right. And this was inevitable as America becomes increasingly diverse.
Real quick, we just had the Tucker Carlson Nick Fuentes interview where they were making the case for feudalism at one point.
Well, that's like Curtis Yarvin, okay? The court magi of the Trump administration, I guess, if you want to call him that. He's against democracy. He is for the government essentially seizing control in a form of benevolent tyranny, okay, to restore order and basically save the country. And then once that is accomplished, then things can go back to normal, okay, as far as democratic process. But we are at a time of crisis. The big thing economically, I mean, I'm not smart enough to really give you an in-depth dive on, why the current state of the economy is as it is, okay, and why projections are so dour, okay. But it will suffice to say that we have an everything bubble essentially, where
Yep.
every bad economic decision over the past 40 years, it looks like it's all coming to a head in one massive debt bubble, and I don't know how we're going to get out of this without.
I can tell you the why. I can tell you the why, or I guess more importantly, the how. And it comes down to basically three factors. Government subsidy is done. It would not be as bad if we had hard money, but because our money is entirely fictional,
right,
and based on faith, right? Loss of faith, because our money is entirely fictional and based on faith in the credit system. Government subsidies are basically your money is being sprinkled on you from the unicorn fruit tree that grants magic wishes, because the money that you're using doesn't exist, right? All current, when you're talking about fiat currency, which is all currency in the world, there are no hard money systems in the world right now. So all of the currency systems are based on the faith of the consumer in the purchasing power of the instrument. People misunderstand what money is. Money, a dollar bill, is not money. right? People have a dollar bill and they think what they have is money. They're mistaken. A dollar bill is no more money than a clock is time. It is an instrument used to divide the more abstract concept of money into a measurable unit for the purpose of exchecking, right? So that's a problem right there, is that government subsidy, and this is especially important in things like healthcare, education. It's money that never existed. It's being so the all money in that system is debt, because what happens,
We
and
have a
this is how,
yes, we have a debt-based economy. That is
right.
correct.
So money is created when the bank issues a loan and it borrows the money to cover that loan from the printing press, from the Federal Reserve. So what happens when that's done, because these are individual measuring units of total wealth, is not that more money is created. It is that the total wealth is subdivided into smaller and smaller units, but we keep the same name for those smaller and smaller units. So the dollar shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. It becomes
Yeah,
worth less,
of
right?
course.
Gasoline is not 4 times as expensive as it was 20 years ago. Your dollar is worth 25% of what it was
Correct.
worth
Correct.
20 years ago.
Correct. And we are at a like 35 trillion subdivisions of the value of that dollar. So yeah, things are things are not looking good for the purchasing power of the dollar. And it is due to that volatility. It is subject its value. Okay. Is subject to the whims of the global markets, cankles, if you will. So, yeah, we're really subject to volatility right now. Now, Chris or
Yeah,
Sergeant Major says,
Danny mentions that gold and silver need to be part of your portfolio. Gold and silver are absolutely part of my portfolio. That's why I always wear a multi-tool, just in case the old man hits the deck. I'm coming for his teeth.
based. All right. So we
You know,
got
I love that joke, and I especially love it because it was his joke to begin with.
yeah. Real quick. There was talk in the chat about Settlers of Catan. Yes, Settlers of Catan is actually my favorite game. Okay. So yes, I play that. It's the game that you can play with women. Okay, women can't do Axis and Allies. All right, so yes, Catan is always
Well,
fun.
Axis and Allies is military strategy. Settlers of Catan is more logistics and
Yep,
resource management, right?
correct. Logistics and research management, exactly. Um, Sergeant Major points out, he says the economy is doing great. The potential for continued growth is based on AI and productivity moving or staying in the USA. Okay, I mean, I think what you fundamentally don't understand, Sergeant Major, is that this the economy is people are losing faith in the economy because you have a generation of people, particularly our every successive generation has essentially um, less purchasing power than the previous generation had. Okay, and right now we're looking at a situation where Generation Z, okay, the people in their 20s and early 30s, have effectively been priced out of an American lifestyle, and they're being pushed directly into socialism. Okay, that's why socialism. That's why Mamdani is president, or not president. God forbid, he can't be. He's a foreign national. Doesn't matter. He's a foreign national. Never happened. That's why Mamdani is mayor of New York City. Okay, because people have lost faith in the very concept of a capitalist society. Okay, um, and the people who killed it are well, it's like the what was it? What did Lenin, was it Lenin or was it Khrushchev? I forgot which one. He said that the capitalist will sell us the rope that we use to hang them. All right, and that's basically
Yeah.
that's what's happening. So, uh, Sergeant Major, gold is greatly overpriced. It's not. Gold is greatly underpriced. The real if the glamours, okay, were dispelled, then gold would be worth twice what it is now. All right.
Ooh.
Disagree. Anyway, so
I'd
did
have
you
to
want
chew
to?
on that one. Oh, I'd have to chew on that one.
Gold has
But no,
intrinsic. Gold has intrinsic value. Okay, gold is not. It does not decay. It is not destroyed. It is basically permanent unless you use specific acidic solvents. Okay, you can't destroy gold. Silver will burn out. Okay,
Right.
eventually,
Silver
but gold will
silver
not.
is going to skyrocket in value in the next several years, precisely because of its massive industrial application, coupled with the fact that it is, unlike gold, destructible. Uh,
Mhm.
so let me. I've got this article I pulled
By the
up.
way,
This one's from
my
Politico.
coffee maker yesterday broke. Okay, I no longer have a coffee maker, so I'm drinking English breakfast tea. All right, for our
Oh, Mario, what?
for
How
our
do you not have a coffee? How is it possible you don't have a? Okay,
it
in
stopped working.
in the 12 or 13 years we've been doing this show, three times in those years, three times I've woken up and gone to start a pot of coffee and the coffee pot had expired.
Yep.
And in each of those three occasions, I immediately got in my pickup truck, stopped at the first gas station on the way, bought a cup of coffee, and then went to the nearest 24-hour Walmart and bought a new coffee pot.
So you're like a crackhead who breaks his pipe, okay, and then he's down at the Pakistani gas station at 3 o'clock in the morning, getting another little rose in the glass tube, okay, so that he can get smoked,
Little rose in a glass tube. Yeah.
so he can get smoked out. Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
not that
I
I'm
have
not that
gone at
bad.
3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to buy a new coffee pot on at least three occasions.
Of my three addictions, alcohol, nicotine, and caffeine is the least severe one for me. Okay, so
Yeah, caffeine is my that's
most
my number one.
yes,
That is
gotcha.
my number one.
Mhm.
So, young Americans continue to lose faith in government institutions. This is a Politico article, and it's a Politico article about a study out of the Harvard Public Opinion Project. So, this is going to be a very deep well to mine for us. Oh, so Sergeant Major says $4,300 per ounce is three times what it was 4 years ago. Silver is 50 plus, and my coffee pot is 72 years old.
Yeah, take the flex. We don't make stainless steel equipment that lasts forever anymore, Sergeant Major. Okay,
Yeah,
but
legit. The coffee pot, the two coffee pots that the Sergeant Major runs on his kitchen counter, one of them they bought to supplement the other one, but the first one, it's the old school percolator like you'd see on Lucy's counter in I Love Lucy. And
yeah.
If I remember correctly, they came across it in like an estate sale, basically new in the box.
Yeah, if I had the ability to ransack Sergeant Major's home, okay, like I was the ghost of Christmas Future, okay, basically pilfering Ebenezer Sergeant Major Scrooge, okay. Um, I'm not. We're not going for the curtains, okay. The first thing I'm going to steal is that coffee maker. That's mine now. That is a priceless relic, okay. That will go in my reliquary. Whoa! Look at that.
Marco.
A wild Marco appears. Look at that. He's fucked up right now. He needs to go get a cup of coffee or something and normalize himself. Maybe he'll be back. Okay. Yeah. Don't freak out. Don't freak out, Jiggly. I'm not cheating on you. That's my brother. Okay. It's okay.
A wild Marco appears. So the
Yeah, that's the other reason I haven't been doing the show, because I broadcast from the guest bedroom, which is where Marco's sleeping. So we just woke him up.
perfect. So, amid financial hardship and a devastating crisis of community, young Americans are increasingly disillusioned with the world as they struggle to find their place in it, says Jordan Schwartz, the student chair of the Harvard Public Opinion of the HPOP, said in a press release. This generation doesn't expect politics to solve their problems. But as young Americans continue to lose faith in government institutions, the need for politicians to listen to and learn from young people has never been greater. This is clearly being written, as it said, the student chair of the Harvard Public Opinion Project. This kid is an idiot.
Well, there's some truth to that, but the lesson that the lesson that needs to be learned is not coming from academia. Okay, it is not coming from the student movements. All right, um, even TPUSA. All right, is essentially functions to hold together certain like macro structures in society that existed prior that have existed for generations. Okay,
Mhm.
it is meant to maintain a semblance of of the status quo. Okay, in fact, it's fighting to reinstate a status quo that is effectively that has been slipping. All right, so
Yeah, and
but
well, and TPUSA is an organization that is made up of people that are in that student age group, but
yeah,
it is not per se a student organization. Because remember,
no,
Charlie Kirk himself was a college dropout that was basically against people going to college for the sake of going to college. Right? As we've discussed many times, and we're not the only ones to point it out. Throughout the 80s and 90s, while you and I were coming up and growing up in public schools, and I know you went to mostly private Catholic schools, but even there, through the 80s and 90s, we were beat over the head with, if you don't go to college, if you don't at least stay in college until you're
yeah,
basically 21 years old,
mhm,
go and debauch yourself and stay inebriated until you're old enough to drink and walk
mhm,
away with some BS or BA and some BS or
mhm,
something. You
yeah,
don't go and get yourself at least a 4-year degree, then you will never have a good job. You'll and that would often be coupled with statements like you'll end up working in a restaurant, you'll end up flipping burgers, or you'll end up being a plumber for the rest of your life. You'll never have a good job. And it's like,
yep,
hold up, wait a minute. We
yeah, a
couldn't have
little,
spent the last 40 years telling kids, oh, by the way, you can show enough make six figures as a plumber,
yeah, of
right?
course,
Go buy you a lawnmower and a weed eater and a trailer. And buddy, you'll be making six figures and have a crew before you know it.
yeah. Uh, yeah, well, people are also priced out of that by regulation. Okay, which also makes it difficult.
Correct.
Like in say back in Sergeant Major's time, if you wanted to start a landscaping business, it'd basically be whatever equipment you have, go out there and basically do the work and bring on a couple people if you can. Now with it, now there would be like insurance, okay, that you have to pay for, um, workman's compensation, if you have a more than 10 employees, okay. Um, basically the bar to entry is much higher now than it was before, okay, due to the regulatory environment and due to our incredibly destructive litigious culture from the 80s and 90s. Okay, these are the end results of it. So anyway, back to the loss of faith in the what was the article? Where was the article going? Was it going anywhere,
Okay.
or was it just some fucking shitlib
Young
seething?
Americans continue to lose faith in government institutions. Uh, and he go, well, okay, first let me tackle this last sentence. The need for politicians to listen to and learn from young people has never been greater. Yeah, shut up. No, there isn't anything to learn from those young people. Okay, between
So
unless you have had a legitimate job until you're 30, you don't know shit about anything. And now younger people, there we may have something, because here's the world today.
the need for
We
politicians to
have
listen to
three.
me has never been greater. Okay, the need,
Well, and that's correct. And I'm about to make that case. You've got three very bright line categories of human being walking around in the United States today. Now, this is less true in third world countries than it is in the U.S. and the modern Western world right now. But you've got three significantly distinct categories, and those are the people who grew up without the internet, who achieved adulthood before the existence of the internet, the people who have never been without it, and then guys like me and Mario, whose entire process of fundamental development period was the birth and development of the internet.
That's right.
Right? That kind of, we just did the hero's journey on Saturday. We are the masters of two worlds.
Yes, we are the daywalkers.
Yes. we are the daywalkers. We are the umbra treaders. We are the planeswalkers, right? Master of two worlds. But that's very much a thing. A young guy right now who just turned, who's just in his early 20s, has had a smartphone since he was in his hand since he was 5 or 6 years old,
yep.
or younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
He does not have a world experience that significantly includes knocking on doors and going and filling out paper applications, sitting down for job interviews, going to work, right? Disappearing into the nebulous penumbra of the wild public without mommy and daddy being able to reach out and give him a phone call and say, hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I really do think that the quality of education has decreased staggeringly. All right, even since Chris and I were in high school. All right,
Yeah.
Shockingly, like the public education system is essentially a babysitter service. All right, that has AP, and the only thing maybe worth of any academic attainment that might be worthwhile in the public school system would be from the AP courses. Okay, so if your kid's not in like the AP classes, they're essentially in daycare. All right, and academia is
even if they're in
basically
the AP classes, they're basically in daycare.
right. So and the colleges, okay, in the university setting, these have essentially become seminaries that train professional leftists. Okay, when you see a person come out of college with what you consider a useless degree, okay, in like whatever grievance studies, gender studies, whatever, okay, one of the make believe soft pseudosciences, right? Those people aren't worthless. We would laugh like, "Huh, that'll never pan out once you enter the real world," right? That's what that's what we were told about such degrees. It turns out that's not true. It means that you are a trained professional leftist, and that actually is what gets you in the door for entry level positions. Okay, there is a political purity test that occurs, particularly, and in the higher end the industry is all right, particularly in the tech field. It really does matter if you are not if you haven't had the communist sacrament of a confirmation, all right, which is the university system declaring you a pure and trained leftist, then you're not going to get in the door, right? So, fuck.
Yeah, well, and we just touched on Gen Z
Right. So
being
that's what I
broken.
go. So what I was saying is, it would be better to essentially avoid academia altogether right now. And there are people on the right. Like this is a big divide right now on the right. I think that it would be better, honestly, unless your young people have a particular prodigious talent. Okay, maybe keep them out of the university system for now. Okay, starve the beast of fresh young bodies. Not that it would really matter because they'll just fill it up with foreigners. You see, like me
I know.
arguing, I'm arguing with myself here because of just how bad the situation is, and I don't think there's any. I don't want your pharmaceuticals.
White pills, baby.
Oh, take you getting on some oxy. You want some-
No.
we need to play Little White from Hypnotized Minds Records. Oxycontin, Xanax bars.
Oh,
Oh man,
Aaron Olson asked, would sending American students to a European university be a better option?
no,
Hell
no.
no.
Europe is dangerous. Europe is extremely dangerous. Okay, you have no right to self-defense, and they keep bringing in hostile foreign invaders. Okay, even worse than the ones that we have. All right, no, nowhere in Europe is safe. Do not go to Europe.
Correct. Pitt Danny says take public money from the colleges. I'll take it a step further. I think we should pay off, not forgive, pay off all of the student debt. And we should do it
I agree.
first by ending all public subsidy to college institutions, and then by seizing their endowments, seize the endowments from the universities, right? Especially the private universities, especially Harvard, Princeton, et cetera. Seize the endowments from universities, use that to pay off all of the student debt in the country. And not because I feel any particular generosity towards these people or anything of the nature, but precisely because the holders of degrees from these institutions have been defrauded.
Yes, I agree.
And they should be made whole by the justice system.
I was an early advocate of actually basically canceling the student loans, okay, and letting the banks have to take the hit. The academic institutions will have to take the hit, okay, and it's specifically because it is a rare situation, okay, where I think that the market, if you will, okay, had led in 2 generations of young people to attempt to achieve a goal that was in fact a false bill of goods. All right, and the federal government getting involved within it only made it more expensive, made it artificially expensive. Okay, for those 2 generations. So yeah,
Sergeant Major
I think
asks,
there
a little
is.
tongue in cheek, "Are you
I'm
becoming a
not,
Marxist?"
absolutely
No,
not. I'm telling
absolutely.
you that when the system is broken, okay, the system it cannot be fixed without like there has to be a reset. Okay, that bubble has to pop.
Well, and
That's the
in fact,
problem.
in particular, what I'm telling you is we can identify Marxist just like any other enemy, and we can employ kinetic force to correct that point of security failure.
The point is, like Sergeant Major, you don't. An entire generation of people are permanently fucked. Okay, and basically permanently hampered by student loans to the point where they will never be able to own a home. They will never. There will be no family formation. Okay, basically a generation of zomboids. Okay, who will achieve nothing. Now,
And amusingly, that is
I don't.
Generation
If
Z.
if it takes a government action, okay, to address a fucking cancer, all right, that exists in this country, that is killing us, that is killing a generation of people, then yes, the government should step in. I don't give a fuck about principles, okay? I don't care about principles. I care about taking care of our people. I care about fixing this nightmare, this chimera of every ism that is like overtaken this country. We have to. There is some truth to what Curtis Yarvin said. Okay, like there needs to be an emperor at this point. Maybe there needs to be a king. All right, to take assessment and basically levy punishment where it belongs. All right, but the situation as is, the status quo, is leading us into an entropy death loop where we're all going to be replaced by AI and Indians if nobody steps in and does something about it. Okay, the current status quo is death. Understand that.
So
All right.
we were talking about how kids these days never had to pound the pavement. Yeah, it's worse than you can imagine. Are you reading that headline, Mario? 77% of Gen Z job seekers have brought a parent to an interview.
Yep.
They're even getting them to negotiate pay raises and take their hiring tests.
That's what happens when you have a generation. This is also another massive cancer. This is why that article exists. You have a generation of people who never properly learned to socialize. Okay, who cannot function in a social setting because they have been myopically obsessed in their own little digital world in their face. All right, that's why.
Yeah. So to recruiters and hiring managers, Gen Z has someone they want you to meet. And you might need to pull up an extra chair. That's because 77% of Gen Zers say they have brought a parent to a job interview, according to a recent study by Resume Templates. Okay, before we get much further down that rabbit hole,
I agree, Sergeant Major. This article might be bullshit. I agree. Yep.
No, this isn't the first time I've seen this stat.
I tell you, okay, you know where I brought my parents? I brought my
you know
parents
what? It's amusing. Hang on, real quick, Sergeant Major. It's amusing that you should say that because I've got this other article handy. Majority of Americans trust what's online less than ever before. But no, I've seen this article or this reporting has I think the first time I saw it was a little over a year ago about people bringing their parents to job interviews. And this is one of those things like it would never have even occurred to me to ask my dad to come with me to a job interview. Not beyond, hey, dad, I've got a job interview, right? When I'm 16, maybe, hey, dad, I've got a job interview. Can you give me a ride? Like, you drop me off.
So I'm in a, yeah, there is an exception to this though. Like I'm in my 40s. I would, if my dad was available, I would still bring him if I was buying a new vehicle. Okay, just because I want a second pair of eyes. Okay, on what's going on. So
yeah, that's a very, very different creature.
Yeah, very different.
That's just yeah, like I would probably. I mean, I bought a vehicle recently, used vehicle. I went and checked it out, and I didn't take anybody with me. I kind of knew what I was looking for. We've talked about my experience with Carvana. I will never again buy a vehicle that I haven't put my hands on before I pay for it. That's just not happening.
Yeah. In the chat right now, that's very interesting. I don't know who JF Bryan is. That's one of the many reasons that I had to shut down the staffing business. Over half of my employees had to have someone come in with them and help them fill out basic employee information form and application. Okay, so yeah.
Jay, are you talking about them bringing a parent, or are you talking about people who weren't native English speakers bringing a translator?
Probably all of the above. Okay,
because those are both problems.
Probably all of the above, but it just signifies that the high school, the public education system, is so bad that it no longer can even give you basic skills on how to acquire more skills. Okay,
right?
Basic skills on how to get a job, how to even function. All right.
Well, there's your third worldization of America, right there. What have we talked about with respect to our experiences in the Middle East? And you were in Iraq, which is a lot more metropolitan than Afghanistan, where I was. It's the freaking wild, wild west of the Middle East. In Afghanistan, your average, not even your average, the majority of the grown men that you encounter, and it's all grown men because they lock the women up in the basement. The majority of the grown men you encounter there are too dumb to learn.
That's a thing.
We lost Afghan National Army soldiers who put their rifle down without putting a safety on, slammed their rifle into a rifle rack just like that one, hard enough that the rifle went off and shot him in the face.
Yep.
More than once.
Yes. Sub 80 IQ is untrainable. You cannot, if you do not have an IQ of a minimum 80, you cannot be trained. You can't be used. You're effectively you're an animal. So, well, why don't we go to? Did you talk about anything about Berkeley? What went on in Berkeley this week?
No, we haven't. We haven't.
I did post an article in Camario if you wanted to take a look at that one.
Did I pull that one up? I pulled up a couple of your articles. I don't know if I got them all.
Also, what the hell were you guys doing for 4 hours on Saturday night?
Oh, we covered the hero's journey
for 4 hours.
Well, yeah, because the heroes
is this like Epic of Gilgamesh? Like what was that?
Yeah, that's part of it. But okay, so I'll summarize it for you. Actually, so the hero's journey it references primarily Campbell's work on the examination of myth, but Campbell took a lot from Jung, right? So Jung gives us the psychological archetypes: the hero, the shadow, the trickster.
By Jung you mean Freud's best goy protege?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. So the Jungian archetypes dramatically influenced Campbell's understanding of what he called the monomyth, which is the like boilerplate basic 17 stages of a story from beginning to end. And it's the individual segments of it. They don't all appear in every myth, but every story of consequence, most especially every myth, every religious story, even in Christian mythos,
Yeah,
every single one of those stories follows the same. And like I explained on when we were talking
yeah,
about it Saturday,
it's an archetype.
yeah,
Yeah,
there, Jesus Christ isn't it's not the only story of a virgin birth. It's not the only story of a rebirth or resurrection.
yeah,
That story repeats all over the place, and there's a reason that we recognize and uh, kind of resonate with that particular story. Um, and yeah, 4 hours. We went deep on it.
man. All right.
27 slides.
Well, I'm sorry I missed it. But what was Cade in house with you? I haven't watched
Yeah,
it yet.
no, he called in.
Okay, gotcha,
He was just on the other side of the monitor like you are right now.
gotcha. All right. So there was a riot in University of California, Berkeley. Looks like it was over this past weekend, right?
Yep.
Where
Because
TP.
TPUSA came and said people should have free speech. And
Uh,
Berkeley said,
well,
"You're Nazis. Free speech is for Nazis, and we're going to
I know.
burn you alive."
Yes, basically. Um, by the way, I mean that's pretty ballsy to go to Berkeley. Okay. I mean that's I don't know. Would you if somebody was if someone goes somewhere, okay, for free speech related cause, all right, and their motives are good, but they know that they're walking into the lion's den, would you consider that a form of provocation or no, or is it a
That's a tough call.
you know what I mean?
Um,
Yeah, but regardless, if that was the intention, they certainly got a reaction. All right,
they did get a
um,
reaction.
yeah. So
Oh,
and I
and
really would encourage people if you're on X, okay, to go through and just watch the crowds, okay, of protesters, which is incredibly charitable description, more like communist radicals, okay, like heathen 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 beasts, okay, that were congregating outside of the forum where TPUSA was holding their event. All right, you're looking at it's unhinged madness. It is people people who have essentially been separated from any cultural or religious foundation, okay, that their ancestors had the benefit of. People who are utterly cast into the world with no tether to the past and nothing but a 24-hour news feed and garbage slop entertainment drip, okay, in front of their faces. This is the type. Oh, and mixed in with some pseudo intellectual Marxist academia, right? This is the result. This is the result of a generation that has, I wouldn't, led astray, but even worse, sacrificed. That were sacrificed to basically the cause of communism, the anti-Western belief system, basically third worldism, and socialism. Um, they are the rot, like they are the rot of our society, and
yeah,
if
and
that. And if there and that's why I mean that's why I give TPUSA credit for trying. Okay, but stemming that rot, that is that is the existential crisis that this country is really facing. Okay, it's not the economy. All right, it's not really the economy. It's not military threats really against us. Okay, at the end of the day, we still have two huge oceans. All right, serving as natural barriers. Um, what it comes down to is the youth. The we have been losing generation after generation. Okay, and we're losing them at increasingly faster rates. And if that cannot be arrested, then the country will be lost. You'll lose the Constitution. You will lose your First Amendment rights. You will lose the Second Amendment. Okay, you're going to lose everything. We are going to be, and then once they've ruined us, then the replacement migration will kick in full steam. Okay, imagine imagine a situation where you're getting 20 million immigrants a year, except they're illegal, except they're legal. That's the most horrifying thing you can imagine.
right,
Okay, which is your government effectively exterminating you on behalf of foreigners who have not been utterly poisoned and contaminated by the cultural Marxism that has effectively ruined this country. So we are at a crossroads where there very well could be a French Revolution, something akin to the French Revolution happening, um, and we're at the point where kind of the ethnos of our people is it's waiting for a call to action. Okay, um, there's there I pray, I legitimately pray that there is some kind of collective understanding, collective conscious amongst our people that is going to be that a fire is going to be stoked in our souls. Okay, that will lead us to defeat this. Okay, um, and and that fire is coming from people like us. Okay, younger generations. I honestly think I don't think the are boomers waking up to it. Does it matter? Can you even wake up a normie at this point? How many people are just NPCs where it doesn't you cannot they can't be activated. Okay. Um, I'm kind of rambling this morning. It's just the whole
That's all
idea is
right.
depressing because I mean you're talking about a crisis of faith, people losing faith in the institutions of America, and that's really, I think that's the heart of it. That's what happened. Okay. Um, and I know I'm not a Marxist, okay, but we do have extreme disparity in wealth. The middle class has effectively been destroyed. So does capitalism want to destroy the middle class? Okay, is that the goal of capitalism? It's not. So what happened? So if we're gonna this whole debate between
Well,
the
late
divide between
stage
capitalism.
capitalism. What the lefties like to talk about with, oh, look at the corruption of late stage capital. Late stage capitalism is communism.
Yes, it well
Communism is what happens when capitalism is so successful that it offers to the people the opportunity to be useless.
mhm, yeah.
Right?
The
An impoverished nation cannot abide the lazy.
capitalism has become has become an oligarchy. That's the problem. Extreme concentrations of wealth and just a handful of people. All right, and trickle down economics doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. They're not spending the money. They're holding it or they're converting it into physical assets. So you've got you got like basically two strata in society. There are asset holders, and then there are essentially peons. And the peon's position is getting increasingly worse um, with every economic disruption. So,
Well, I got to get down the road and go do a contract this morning, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and put a pin in it there. You got anything else you want to say in closing, Mario?
Cade says, as long as the internet is there to provide evidence supporting every opinion, no matter how extreme, yeah, it is. That's another thing. There is at no point has the education system has education been worse than it is now, but also at no point has more information been available than it is now. Okay, so that is a curious contrast, and I think
Well, it teaches us
that's a whole
that the
nother that's a
problem
whole
was
nother show.
never the
Hmm.
problem was never the availability of information,
Hmm.
right? You,
Yeah.
every everybody now has absolute constant access to the entire collected work of human knowledge,
Hmm. Yeah.
and the result is we've all seen funny cat videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why have we not all instead read Wealth of Nations or Atlas
Mhm.
Shrugged or 1984 or yeah, hell, Mario, you haven't read Huxley, have you? Brave New World.
No.
That that's one. I would say it's not. Eh,
I know the story though.
yeah, but it's
I
it's
know,
a good one and
but
it's
it's
an
different if
important
you read it. I know. So.
one. And like with Huxley, yeah, we need to do a book club type of show with Huxley. Brave New World warned us about a panopticon and a violent, corrupt government and the kind of nanny state thing. Brave New World painted a very sunny utopia that was dystopian in the sort of the ignorance of the people. And a big thing that he talked about in that was the vulgar debasement of sex, so much so that it wasn't just that everybody was not only expected to, but encouraged to avoid monogamy, to have a single partner, and which is not to speak nothing even of marriage, just to so-called go steady or have an exclusive sexual partner is a social taboo in the Brave New World story. It goes so far as there's a scene where they're watching a group of children in the 4 to 7 year old age group that they're naked in a public park playing sex games, being instructed on sex play,
Yeah.
in full view of the public and bare beam and butt naked, and being encouraged to be promiscuous. And
it's similar to Fahrenheit 451, where it's like, oh, you got your youth are unemployed, uneducated, okay, and basically they're going to cause like a violence against the regime. Send them out to go smash up cars in a parking lot. Okay, they'll blow off some steam there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
So
Cade is correct. Destroying the family is 100% the goal. It always was, because the family is the microcosm of society at large. It is the smallest element of society, and if you destroy the family, then essentially from the roots up, the whole plant, the whole tree will die. So, yep.
Yeah, that's why the commies were so interested in universal suffrage.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Of course.
That's a whole other conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and button it up there, or I'll get down a rabbit hole on the 19th. Mm-hmm. So y'all be safe out there, guys. Thanks for watching. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.
Ciao.